Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your week. The weather here is absolutely beautiful, so I hope it's beautiful where you are. And if it's cold and wet and rainy, I hope you are getting to do tons of amazing reading, because that's what that weather is for. And there are so many good books to read right now, so I hope that that is what you're doing if the weather is not great. And if it is great, I hope you're outside reading in the beautiful sunshine. Today's video is Read and Reviewed number 11. Today I'm going to talk about books 31, 32, and 33 that I have read in 2019, and they are all amazing, so I'm super excited about this. But this is a little bit different because all of these books actually will have come out or are coming out in the month of April. And I have been very, very excited to read them and then to tell you guys about them. Normally I do my read and reviews in the order that I read them, but this time I'm going to do them in the order of publication. So as I always say, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, because all three of these books, though vastly different from each other, are all worth your time, I promise. The first book that I want to tell you about is The Editor by Stephen Rowley. Now, Stephen Rowley was very, very well known for his novel Lily and the Octopus. Well loved, lots of people read it. I did not read it, and I don't know why, because I read The Editor that came out on April 2nd from Putnam. I have to thank Putnam. They did send me an early copy of this book, and I was so lucky. On Twitter, randomly found out that Stephen Rowley was going to be at a little bookstore called the Great Good Bookstore, I think, in Oakland, California. Had an amazing time there. Great staff. If you are in Oakland, definitely check them out. Great book selection. For a store that is not very big, had quite a variety. And Stephen was there and he read from this novel and talked about it. So what is the book about? So this book is the story of James. James is a young writer in 1990s New York who is trying to write a novel about the relationship he has with his mother. Funny enough aside, his main character is named Russell. There you go. He has an agent, and the novel is written, and his agent has submitted the book to Doubleday, where there is an editor there that has picked it up and would like to publish it. In the first few pages, we learn that that editor is none other than Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Now, what is super interesting about this and what I learned from Stephen was in sort of the last third of her life, Jackie was an editor at both Viking and Doubleday, and she published, or she edited about 100 books. She normally did nonfiction. However, she did publish about 10 novels or fiction pieces, and he relied on that and did a bunch of research and interviews to create Jackie in this book. Jackie is interested in the story that James is telling about the relationship with his mom, however, says that he needs to work on the ending of the book. And what this book turns out to be is really two parts. It turns out to be a dive into James's relationship with his mother and his father. We learn very early James is a gay man in the 1990s New York. He has a boyfriend, a long-term boyfriend named David or Daniel, I can't quite remember. And we find out that the event of coming out to his parents really ended the relationship between his mother and father and changed the relationship he had with his mother. What Jackie is in this is she is really there to spur him on to investigate that relationship and really to write the best book that he can. And she, I'm assuming, because in my mind, in my world, editors are this way, she is really trying to inspire him to tell the best story that he can, and also investigate into sort of who he is as a person. Now, this is also very much a love letter to Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. She is just witty and smart, and she says the right things, but she's also flawed and human, and it's really a very, very nice, well-rounded portrait. But the book isn't about Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. It is really about this author and his struggle to tell the story and learn about himself. What does he need to learn about himself and his relationship and his mom? We get a lot of him going to his family. He has a brother and sister. We flash back to his youth and when he, you know, sort of figures out he is gay, figures out how that conversation is going to go with his parents. There's flashbacks to his interactions with his father. And there is family secrets that are sort of laid out as he continues to do his investigation. I'm not going to tell you any of those because I do not want to spoil, but it's really an amazing sort of introspective look at what a writer who is writing a fictional account of really a relationship in his life has to do in order to come to terms with the story he wants to tell. The writing is simple and beautiful and heart-wrenching at times, but also real and very 90s New York at times. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis is not in any way a caricature. That could very well have happened where she just becomes larger than the pages of the book she's in. But no, she is kept really real, and her relationship with James as a writer is just phenomenal. I really enjoyed sort of at times being laughing, at times not only laughing, but also having my heart sort of wrenched in different directions. There's just a lot of really good family stuff that goes on in this book. And Stephen Rowley takes you on a journey, and you are there, and you really want to know. I'm ready. I want to read the book that James wrote. And I am invested in him and his family from page to page. I really love this book. I think it was worth very much my time. I will definitely be picking up Lily and the Octopus because I think he has an immense talent. And I think if you like books that are about writing, about publishing, also about family and family dynamic and family drama, that have a sense of history and just one of those historical characters that is adding a nod, a touch, and a wink to you as the reader, the editor is the book for you. So this is The Editor by Stephen Rowley. It came out on April 2nd from Putnam. I want to thank Putnam again for my early copy, and I highly recommend going out and getting it. I hear, just as an aside, that the audiobook of this is also phenomenal, so if that is up your alley, you may want to check that out. The next book, we're going to take a whoop away 360 here, is the novel Naamah by Sarah Blake, which came out today. You can get your hands on it as of today. I have been practicing how to say Naamah. I'm sure it's still not right. Naamah is the biblical wife of Noah, and this is the story of the flood from her perspective. There's so much to talk about, and in a review, I cannot possibly go into the utter dynamics of this book. I'm going to throw out, there was one issue that I had with this book, and it doesn't affect anything that I'm going to say. There are a couple of times where different characters in this book use curse words, like the F word, which didn't jive with me. It's not really a big thing. It doesn't do anything to the story, but I just wanted to put out there that sometimes I was like, what? But other than that, what is this? Naamah is the wife of Noah. She comes to a perspective on the flood that I had never even thought about and or thought needed to be told until Sarah Blake told me it needed to be told, and did so amazingly. Because Naamah goes into the flood story and the ark with a sense of love and purpose for her husband, but not with the same faith in what they're doing. She doesn't have the conversations with God that Noah does that leads to this decision, so she is coming to it as an outsider. And what Sarah Blake does amazingly well is she makes her so three-dimensional, because there is no sense of this woman being just one of those people that is doing what she's told. She definitely has different perspectives. She's super smart. What's also really interesting is that Naamah had relationships. She's fully sort of realized as a woman, a sexual being, has relationships with people before she goes on to this trip. And something that I don't think has ever really been thought about in this way for me was that Noah and his family had to say goodbye to everyone, and sort of the heart-wrenching, just the heart-wrenching sadness of knowing that you were going to get on this ark and the storm was going to come, and the people that you loved and knew and interacted with day to day is amazing. That it is heart-wrenchingly tragic. Thirdly is Naamah is above everything the mom, the mother of the Ark adventure. She is the mother to her children, her 3 sons and their wives. She is the mother to the animals that are on this. And there are some amazing sort of allegory moments where she is interacting with the animals. There are times where her sort of duplicity of her faith, her sort of that thin line that she's walking, means that she can't always see the animals that she is helping, but she never gives up on what her role is in this situation. Also, another sort of interesting sort of aspect is she decides that she wants to swim in the water around the ark after the storm has passed, and she meets an angel who is under the water, who has created this world for the children that lost their lives due to the flood, which is a very sort of step back view of what the flood really was. And Naamah and this angel create a relationship. There's a lot of energy between them, and also a lot of dialogue and sort of introspection. Sarah Blake is a poet by trade, and you can definitely see that in her language. I almost at times felt like I was reading sort of poetic verse, and the realness of who Naamah is as a person as she struggles with the multi-dynamic aspects of what the flood story really is. It's really, really good, you guys. I think Sarah Blake is an author that we all need to be watching out for. I already want her to write another book like this. I want her next book to be the story of Abraham and Isaac from the point of view of Abraham's wife. She makes a character. She makes sort of a cameo appearance in this book. I was fascinated by her on the page, and I want Sarah Blake to tell me more. I don't want to say that she should turn into a person that just reinvents Bible stories for me, but I'm bought in. I am bought into her as a writer. I thought this book was absolutely brilliant. I thought the writing was absolutely beautiful. And I think I want you guys to read it because I want to talk about it with people. I think it will invite conversation. And I think it just brings a sense of reality and realness to sort of the allegory of the Bible, of the flood story in the Bible, and also the reality of the people that they were. Yeah, I really love this. I just thought it was so brilliant and different. Yeah, so Naamah by Sarah Blake. I want to thank Riverhead Books for sending me this early copy. I just haven't been to a bookstore. This will wind up on my shelf. It's definitely going to be one of my top books, read books of the year. Yeah, definitely, absolutely loved it. Sarah Blake hit it out of the park. Last but not least is a book that is coming out on April 16th that I have been patiently, not so patiently, waiting to read until closer to its publication date, and that is the legal thriller Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. This book is so good too. I want to thank FSG and Sarah Crichton Books for sending me this early copy. Again, comes out on April 16th. This is the story of Young and Pak Yu. They are a Korean couple that immigrate to the United States. Now, Young comes with their daughter, Mary, about 4 years before her husband, comes sort of on this invitation to work in a store for a family, and she can bring her daughter, and they will put her daughter through school. That sort of event is horrifying in its own case. She becomes basically a servant to this family. But it has a real sense of reality into something that could happen. Pak comes about a year before the story takes place. They move from Baltimore proper to the outskirts, where they start a company where they, in a barn, create a hydroponic oxygen chamber, which is called the Miracle Submarine. In my brain, it will always be the Miracle Submarine because I read it, so I apologize if I get that term wrong. They offer treatment, oxygenation treatment, to many different people. They have a young kid who is autistic. They have a doctor who is suffering from infidelity. They have a young girl who has a neurological disorder. She's in a wheelchair. She cannot speak. And all of them come to the Miracle Submarine for this treatment in order to helpfully change their circumstances. What happens at the very beginning of this book is there is a fire, and it kills the young autistic boy and a mother. That is not a surprise. That is right at the forefront. The mother of the autistic boy is on trial for the murder of her son, the murder of this mother that was in the facility, and all of the damage and other people who were injured. So this is a legal courtroom thriller at its heart, and it is amazing. The mother is on trial for the murder. We get the perspective of the trial from many different characters, the different points of view. And what Angie Kim does amazing is that as things develop within the trial, she then flashes to another character who gives you the backstory on different facts, different bits of evidence, different things that have occurred that have sort of a sense of, oh, you didn't know this, but now you know it. What's really fascinating is the prosecuting attorney thinks he knows how things are going to go, but things keep changing on him. One of my absolute favorite characters in the book does not even have her own sections, but that is the defense attorney for the mother. She is smart, she is clever, she is out to defend her client at all costs, and there's just an uber sense of reality to her. She is really, really good. And Angie Kim and I believe her husband are both lawyers by trade. You definitely get a sense and respect for the law and a realism to that aspect. You never fell, you know how sometimes you read or see something that's a legal thriller and you know that the person who is writing it has no sense of what really goes on in a courtroom? You will not get that here. What you also get are flashbacks on why the Yu family moved from Korea to America. You get a lot about sort of the situation of their family in this community where they really are, they stand out, and sort of the different perspectives on them in their community. You get different perspectives about mothers raising autistic children, special needs children, the love that they have for their children, but also the frustration that comes with it, which I think is just amazingly well done. There are times, even though this mother is on trial for the murder, there are heart-wrenching moments where you think, when she is speaking about her son, that are just brilliant. The writing has a sense of reality, but every so often you just realize that Angie Kim is a really great writer. This is a debut novel and it kicks it out of the park. Don't believe me? I happen to know my friend Britta Bowler over at the Second Shelf highly recommends this book as well. I was on the edge of my seat. I would stop what I was doing, I'd read it, and I would be literally, I'll take 10 more minutes where I'm at and miss things because I wanted to know what's going to happen next. I was very happy with how the book wrapped up, and all of it. I think that the book does itself justice by not being formulaic, definitely giving you enough information to create your own theories and then destroy them, and also creating characters that you care about and you worry about and you really, really want to know more about. It also deals with tough topics, autism and curing autism, and how people look at it from different perspectives, immigration, the story of these this Korean family and trying to build a life here in America with all of the different aspects of society coming at them. A young girl from Korea who comes here and how her life has changed and what really affects that. Yeah, so much, so many good things. I could talk about this book for ages. That is Miracle Creek, Angie Kim, out April 16th. Thank you again to FSG and Sarah Crichton Books for sending me this early copy. Get this. If you guys like a thriller, I promise you, this is a courtroom thriller that you will enjoy. So this is 3 books. So these are 3 books that come out in the month of April. 1 out, 2 out as of today, 1 coming out next week. And I am telling you guys, they are all worth your time. As always, if you are a return subscriber to my channel, thank you so very, very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope all of these books wind up on your TBR and you come back for more recommendations in the future. As always, I wish you happy reading and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!